Okay, we should be live, and we're good. Hello to anybody viewing this. Tonight we are interviewing Jamie Rahn, another American Ninja Warrior contestant. Jamie, it is great to have you.
Hello.
So we have a couple questions prepared. Prepared for you. This first one is for me. Do you hate the quad steps with a passion?
No, I love the quad steps. They're one of my favorite obstacles until they got replaced, because there's just so many different things you could do with them.
All right. The next question is from my co-host Phil. Phil, take it away.
Alright, first I gotta say this is a huge honor having you on our show. Talking to you, this is really cool. I've been watching since
My pleasure.
3. It's really awesome. So, my question to you is, obviously you were on Sasuke 37 last year. So, what was your experience, not only on the show, but I saw you training with some of the competitors before the show. So, how was that experience?
That was awesome. I mean, so many of us joined Ninja because we were huge fans of Sasuke. So just to be able to go and watch Sasuke live, not even just competing in it, but being able to meet all the athletes was incredible. I got to go to June's place and he did some training. I didn't get to do a whole lot, but very first thing I did when I got to Japan was we went to Mr. Octopus's restaurant and had some octopus. Got to meet him, which is a huge honor. Got to hang out with Nagano and a bunch of the other athletes at the course. The course run was not ideal. It was super disappointing to fall early on, but it was still just amazing to be able to, get into that. Being on the show is tough enough, and let alone being able to go to Japan and do it is just, I'm lucky to have gotten that far, and hopefully, when COVID all stuff goes away, I'll be able to go back and kind of get redemption and do more and meet more people and hang out longer. So it was amazing. It was just, too short-lived.
All right. Our next question is from a user by the name of Jamie1522. He asks, how does your hair get colored green?
So it's normally that brown, but I'll bleach it, and then I usually go to a hair salon for that, but recently I've just been lazy and doing it myself. And then I have Manic Panic hair dye, which it glows in black light, and it's such a nice bold color that I've just stuck with that for the years. So essentially you bleach it and then you put the color on, get it kind of everywhere except for your skin, and then I sit in that for 2 to 6 hours depending on how long I can get away with it without it getting on stuff, and then shower it out. The longer I keep it in, the longer it stays. So just one day of getting the hair ready. Usually I do it the day before I compete.
All right. The next question comes from Simply, and his question is, how is it making the switch from Captain G4 to Captain NBC?
That's an awesome question. The Captain G4 started out because the show was aired on G4, and then NBC took over the finals, and it was a weird situation where G4 was running the qualifiers, but NBC was running the finals, and they didn't want to have Captain G4 on the NBC network, and it was just body paint back then. So they asked if I could change. I was like, sure, whatever, just draw on something different. It meant no difference to me. I was just happy to be on and be involved, and so I switched it. And then the next year, NBC took over everything, and I just stayed to Captain NBC from there. So it was a very easy transition for me once we went through it, and so long as Captain NBC outperformed Captain G4, I was okay with it.
Alright, and then the next question is again from Jamie1522. He asks, where was Captain Esquire?
There was never a Captain Esquire. I think it left G4 before it was Esquire. I do love top hats. I can't do much of a mustache, though, so to look kind of extra fancy I don't think would work for me. But I tried to do something like that when we did the Team Ninja, I believe that was on Esquire when it began. But we ended up not having kind of individual things, but more of just a team group.
All right. Our next question is from Gabe, one of our hosts. He asked, "How were you able to complete stage 1 barefoot?"
A lot of practice. So I like to train as much variety as possible. It's kind of why I enjoy training ninja and parkour. There's just so much variety and options. So losing my shoe on the second obstacle, immediately I thought, well, I can do the dipper, but then the spider wall I'm kind of done with. I'm not going to be able to make it through that. And then once I got there, I realized that it's either going to fail or it's going to be amazing. So either way, there was no pressure. I kind of had to just accepted both of them and went for it. When I stuck it, I knew I was able to make it through the rest of the course. I've done warp walls in socks, in weight vests, with 1 foot. I've done obstacles blindfolded, holding my breath, with my hands tied together, any way that we could think of to make it more challenging. Because you never know, what's going to come up on a course. And oddly enough, one of those things came up is I lost a shoe and had to do it barefoot. So not as difficult as you expect. I usually wear pretty barefoot thin shoes, the Merrell Vapors, when I compete. So it wasn't a big transition. It was actually harder when I had one on, one off.
All right, and our next question is from, again, one of our co-hosts, Mitch.
Cool.
He asks, what are your predictions for the 38th tournament of Sasuke?
The 30th?
No, the 38th.
Oh, 38th, gotcha. I don't know. I'm really hoping they get a good full season out of it. I don't know what they're set for, and I'm hoping it is. I know they can't get the international, so Renee can't go back, so that'll be kind of disappointing to not have someone who made it to the tower last year not come back. But I don't know. I was really impressed with June, and I really hope that he comes through and makes it to the tower. So I'll put my bets on him. And of course, I always love Yusuke and Yujihara, so they're always my go-to rooters.
All right, our next question is from Simply. He asks, will you compete in Sasuke 38 after what happened in Sasuke 37?
I'll compete anywhere they let me. I love the competition. I love all the different countries and all the different communities that there are. Sasuke, had been my dream, and I would love to go back and compete again and again and again. Unfortunately, talking with production, not doing any international competitors, just because of the pandemic, and want to keep everyone safe. So it makes total sense. So 38 is just a training year, which is better because it's a healing year, because I hurt my thumb this year. So 39 is what I'm hoping for. I don't know how the world's going to look when they run 39, but that's got my fingers crossed that I can go and do some more international competitions, because I love this sport and I love sharing it across the world.
I've got a weird question.
Sure.
Why did you hit green?
There was I don't know if I have an example around here. A superhero that I watched on TV growing up called Captain Planet, who fought pollution, and he was made up of the power from 5 teenagers with rings. Of course, there's always a group of teenagers that put power together for a superhero in the 90s. But he fought pollution. His name was Captain Planet. He had a bright green, flat top mullet, blue skin, a big yellow globe on his chest, red boots, and red gloves. And I was him for Halloween. And when A&W 2 was about to film, they put a commercial looking for costume competitors, and that was the first time I even heard that Ninja was coming to the States. So I jumped on. I sent them my costume that year of me as Captain Planet, and they're like, "Oh, we love it, but you got to change the logo because that's copyright." And I was like, "Oh, what about your logo? You own that, right?" And they're like, "Yeah, that's an awesome idea." So I just kind of went as like Captain Planet with a G4 on my chest, and I just kind of stuck with it from there. I love the green. Green's my second favorite color, and it's unique, it stands out, it's recognizable, and so I like the look that kind of came out of it, and it just fits. It just kind of kept it from then on.
All right, the next question that we have is actually from Mitch, and he says, "What do you think of Akbar?"
Akbar? I haven't gotten to spend a whole lot of time with him. I've gotten to hang out with Matt a little bit more. They're both wonderful guys. Akbar's great. I got to compete on his team the first time they did a Team Matt versus Team Akbar. I did poorly, but the team won. So it was really cool to spend a little bit of time with him. From what I kind of know of him, he's a good family guy. He is, takes what he does seriously. He's kind. Whenever we're on the course, there's always, encouraging, talking with them. I don't really get to see him as much outside of the course, but I did get to see him at a, what's it called? Kim, what's the thing we did in Colorado? Make-A-Wish, thank you. Make-A-Wish for a child who I believe he was getting through cancer, and made like a ninja build his house, and Akbar and Eisman came out, and I'm not sure where Akbar's from, but I know Eisman's from Colorado, so Akbar traveled to be there, and it was great to see that. But yeah, I'd love to hang out with him more. I think he might be in California, yeah, but I'm in Missouri now, so I won't get to see him unless I'm competing.
All right, our next question is from Tamfam, also known as Bluebot. His question is, what was your reaction when you found out you were invited to compete in Sasuke 37?
That was like 4 years in the making, something like that. I was trying to, ever since they brought USA or versus the world to American Ninja Warrior, the head of Sasuke came over, and he wanted to make sure that his competitors were taken care of and that everything was kind of running. And so I got to meet him, and I was like, oh, "Hi, so nice to meet you. I love everything that you do. I would love to come see you guys one day." It's like, "Yes, that would be good." I was like, "Does that mean you want me?" And I just kind of kept going back and forth trying to think of is this going to happen? Could it happen? And every time it came up, I was always trying to, figure out, can internationals compete? What's the process for that? And it ended up being kind of an invite only. And I think I got lucky that the last one, 37, it was, I think, Drew and Jesse were the Americans planned to go from the previous year. But then Drew was having a baby. And I was like, what? Times out well for me. If he's going to have a baby, he's not going to be going to Japan. And so I got the official word that I was invited to come out, and I did all the paperwork as fast as I could, and it was it was a dream come true, and the hardest secret that I had to keep out of all of Ninja Warrior, but well worth it.
All right, so that I think is done for user questions.
Cool.
Hold up, I need to take a look at that real quick. Actually, I don't think that is the end.
Ooh. Overtime.
The next question is from Irrelevant Gamer 26, and he asks, "How did you train with your injured thumb?"
Slowly. A lot of patience. I didn't do a lot of training the first month, even, because I needed to let my body heal, and I didn't want to put more work for my body to heal my muscles and my thumb, and just want to put as much effort as I could towards it. So I hurt my thumb May 13th, and then I competed on season 12, I think July 14th or 15th, so about 2 months after. So once I heard season 12 was happening, I just kind of went into more recovery than training. But now I'm able to start training more and more. I still can't do a lot of things, so my training kind of leading up to this season was trying to build up the strength in the muscle. So I cut at the tip, so I have a lot of sensitivity here. But what was difficult was I didn't have a lot of the muscle back in the thumb to actually squeeze or pinch anything. And of course, my calluses were gone, so I need to build those up. So there's a lot of kind of pull down machines, some dead hangs, not a lot of actual, big moves. Not until like the week or two before when I got the clear from the doctor. So a lot of kind of boring PT stuff, but it's the kind of stuff that you need to do to get ready.
All right, the next question, which is again from Irrelevant Gamer 26, is
Cool.
why Irrelevant Gamer 26, and it's why did you choose the two guys that you ended up choosing for this season?
Akil and Donovan. So, fun fact: we don't actually choose. We were kind of, given this thought, like, hey, these are the guys, we're thinking of for you. Does this work? Are there any issues? And I had never met Akil before he was my teammate. I think we met a week or two. I think 2 weeks ahead of filming to get some training together, me, Akil, and Donovan. And then once more about a week before so I could get to know him. But Akil, young guy, actually lives 5 minutes from my house. But I just moved here close to a year ago now. So back then, I was still new, didn't really know anyone, and he hadn't really done Ninja in a little while. But Donovan, I had known for a while, I think maybe 5 years or so, if not more. And he was actually the first competitor to clear one of my National Ninja League courses and get a full clear in the 6 years that I've been doing them. I think I've made about 10 courses. He was the first to do it, and that was this year in Missouri, where I live now. So I'm glad that he was part of my team, and I got to meet Akil, and it was great to have him. Good guy, but he didn't really get as much training as me and Donovan with multiple years of experience. So unfortunately, Akil didn't get to do as well and hang out, but they were good. I mean, it's a TV show first and foremost, so you got to remember that, and we do the best we can, and I'll never lie about things. So we didn't choose them, but I've got no issues against who they picked. I thought they were both great guys.
All right, moving on to the third to last question. The third question from Relevant Gamer 26. Yeah. It's who do you look up to the most when you're competing?
It kind of changes. It depends on kind of what I'm doing or where I'm at. Right now, it's kind of a mix between Jake Murray and Sean Darling Hammond, with maybe like a sprinkle of Ethan Swanson in there. Like I love, I think me and Ethan have a similar brain of how we kind of attack things and what we try and think up. But he's way more aggressive and committed to things than I am on a course, which is where I kind of want to be comfortable at. And Jake has so much fun on the course and is so fast and so efficient. That's something I really look for. And then Sean Darling Hammond is always so calm and collected and just enjoying the moment and so present. And so I kind of try and, depending on what it is, whether it's a grip obstacle or a speed obstacle or a sketchy balance one, is I kind of pick one of those three and focus on, I need to get my Sean head, I got to relax and stay focused on this thing right in front of me, or I gotta pick it up. I gotta Jake Murray and just hit him, be as efficient as possible.
All right. I actually misread, so this next one is going to be the final one. And here's my question: were you shaken up by the news about Drew?
Was I what about Drew?
Were you shaken up by the news that came out about Drew about a month ago? I mean, 2 months ago.
Yeah, it was. I mean, in this world, nothing really is that shocking, I think, at this point. Surprising, yes, but shocking. I mean, there's people that are going to do things that I don't agree with or do things that, I wouldn't have expected. but that's the world. There's much worse things out there, so it wasn't crazy shocking, but it was super disappointing and super kind of, I guess, sad might be a good term. It's kind of hard to figure out because I really looked up to him a lot in terms of not just as an athlete, but really how he carried himself outside of Ninja in the community and the public, and knowing kind of what the situation is, and waiting to hear when this trial is going to be, what that's going to be, and how long all that's going to take. It's really disappointing because we weren't close friends, but I knew him for a long time through parkour originally, and then into Ninja. Came and did many events together when I lived in Jersey. So it was really disheartening to hear, and sad and disappointed and frustrated. But I don't really know kind of where to go. Just kind of keep focusing on what we have now. I think that's kind of what got me out of that first little hole that happened when I heard all the news. It's just, we can't dwell on it. We have to wait until the next information comes out and just focus on what we have and what we're doing now. Because just constantly trying to find out information or create theories or anything like that on something that has nothing new to it, I feel like just kind of puts you in a downward spiral. So I didn't like it. It was really disappointing. He was one of my inspirations growing up for a long time in Ninja in the world. So, it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that's all we've got.
Cool.
Thank you so much for being able to do this interview.
Yeah, no problem.
This is so awesome. Oh my God.
What's that?
This is so awesome having you on. This is very cool.
I'm glad I was able to make it. It seems like our schedules aren't the easiest to figure out, but I appreciate you figuring out a time with me.
Bumpy roads lead to beautiful places.
Yeah.
Beautiful place. This is really cool.
I love that.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you can be on the podcast at some other point, but it was great to have you on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I enjoyed it.
All right. See ya.
Bye.
That was awesome, yo.
Yes. All right.
What was his answer to my question?
We got 2 American Ninja Warrior contestants in one day.
Wait, Gabe, was it about the thumb?
Okay, I joined late. What was his answer to my question?
How did you train with your injured thumb? I think you can just go back and...
He said that
mine was how were you able to complete stage 1 barefoot?
Oh, he said it was because he trained the way he trained.
He had trained in some sort of situations to do that.
Part of his training was barefoot, so that's why he was able to clear.
That was so cool.
I still love. How did you train with your injured thumb? Slowly. Great.
Yes, that was probably the most legendary moment we've ever had on this podcast.
Legend. Absolute legend.
Absolute legend. Imagine if this just becomes a meme in the NBA. The Ninja community.
But what I liked the most about it was that, how like in the other interviews, though we don't try to do it, we try not to mention Drew. And I just love how open he was about it, about the topic.
Yeah.
We could just talk about
I saw earlier how I told Gabe not to make any Ninja Warrior questions about Drew, but then I was like, okay, I think that this topic needs to at least be broached somewhat in how he felt. And I really admire that he was open in that. And that's honestly why Jamie has been one of my favorite ninjas.
Yeah, I can tell by the sound of your voice. You were hesitant to talk about it, but it sounded like you were open to it.
Right.
I was even scared to talk about it.
I was scared to talk too. I mean, man,
but to be honest, what we did on Draft 11, I was thinking about talking about it, but I decided not to because I didn't want anything to go wrong.
Yeah.
No, you see,
they don't call me unfearless for a reason. But anyways, to end off,
I couldn't talk again.
To end off this double episode of the podcast, the upcoming interviews are Max Feinberg at some point after the 17th, so about 2 weeks after my birthday, I think. The Maddie Howard interview is set for Tuesday, the 6th, I believe, at 5 p.m. Eastern. And then, I've contacted a couple other ninjas, but I don't think I've gotten a response from that many. There should be a interview incoming with American Ninja Warrior Junior athlete Maggie Owen, and I have also contacted Anton Fomenko, so that should be happening at some point or another. But man,
Yes, anyway, what I was going to say is I was very scared to talk.
yeah,
I was like, oh no, I'm not going to embarrass myself in front of Jamie bloody.
yeah, and yeah, that's really all I have.
Jamie Ross.
Yeah, we're probably gonna be in disbelief for the next, I don't know, like all time.
Now, if you plug it in properly,
bro, this podcast has legitimacy now.
If you advertise it the right way, this could get a lot of views.
Yes, man.
Yeah, it actually can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it can.
Well, time to stop gushing on stream. Let's go gush off stream. All right.
Yes.